not some big tech company where we're reinventing something. We just want to take something that is almost borderline primal. It's been around humanity for a long time, and there's a reason that it's persisted for so many thousands of years. And we want to do it at the highest possible level.
Welcome back to the Fitt Insider Podcast. I'm your host, Joe Veneri. Today I'm joined by Jason Goodman, co-founder of Bathhouse. In this episode, we discuss reimagining the traditional bathhouse for modern wellness. Jason shares how his passion for saunas and background in nightlife led to creating a social, high-performance recovery space. Plus, we talk about building community, experience-driven hospitality, and plans to scale Bathhouse. Let's get into it. The Fitt Insider Podcast is presented by EGYM. EGYM's smart fitness ecosystem is transforming healthcare through exercise. Combining strength equipment with AI-powered software and corporate wellness platform WellPass, it's leading the shift to proactive, preventative health. Learn more about EGYM's intelligent workout solutions at egym.com. Hi, Jason. Welcome to Fitt Insider. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Joe. I'm glad to be here. Appreciate the invitation.
Yeah, looking forward to the conversation. And to get things started, why don't you just introduce yourself and tell us about Bathhouse, and then we'll get into it.
Sure, yeah. So I'm Jason. I am one of two co-founders, one of two partners of Bathhouse. Me and my partner Travis, we're good friends and have a great partnership. We started the company, originally in 2017. We signed a lease for our first space. Opened about 2 years later in 2019. Broadly speaking, Trav, we do a lot. We collaborate a lot together. But to put it in big buckets, he's the finance partner. And I'm like the operation partner. And then we collaborate on product, major decisions, strategy, that kind of stuff. He's great at what he does. I try to be good at what I do. And we kind of stay in each other's lanes and makes for a great partnership. Bathhouse, I always like to tell people, Bathhouse is really a 5,000-year-old business. These have been around across all geographies, Asia, North Africa, Europe for millennium. And we think of ourselves as a modern version of the traditional, almost antiquity type bathhouses. Center of the community, all walks of life coming there. There's a social aspect, like a meeting place aspect to it. There's a health and wellness and bathing aspect to it. So people come a variety of different ways. Very simply, you buy an admission. So we call it a day pass because you can come in, you can stay as long as you want. We have a variety of different types of saunas, large format saunas, pools, cold plunges, hot pools, neutral density pools, and social spaces like we have a small restaurant. We also offer a very specific types of different treatments. We have massage therapy. We offer one kind of massage, is a sports deep tissue massage, and you can get it in 50 minutes or 80 minutes. And we do body scrubs, which is a very efficacious skin treatment where we have traditional kesi mitts, Turkish type mitts, and we exfoliate you head to toe. The top layer of skin is coming off. The dead skin cells are coming off. So that's the nutshell. They're large format. So these are 30,000 minimum and up type environments. So lots of people, lots of fun, social aspects, bring your friends and sauna together. It's okay to have a conversation. It's a hangout.
Yeah, certainly now in 2025, the interest, conversation, consumer demand, all those things, not only around sauna and ice bath experiences, but maybe the science behind it, the socializing behind it, like all these things. As you mentioned, it certainly is not new, right? This has been around throughout history. But in 2017, what were you thinking like, oh, this is why we need to do this? This is the genesis of we need to maybe reinvent this experience. And then how has that essentially coincided with the rise of demand in this? Like, maybe take us through that initial decision, then like, oh wow, this is like really a lot of kind of demand and interest around this thing.
Yeah, no, it's everybody wants to know, were you smart or lucky? And I actually want to know that too. I'm not sure. Maybe lucky. To go back a little bit, so I'm a long-term sauna head, sauna enthusiast. I've 25 years. I've been seeking these places out and going very frequently, multi times a week to other places. So there was really two things that informed this and my experience in nightlife, which I'll talk about in a second. But I grew up in a place that didn't have anything like this at all. And I moved to New York in 2003. And really quickly after getting here, somebody was, "Oh, you got to go check this place out." One of the old Russian ones. I was like, "Okay, it's like a New York experience." And back then it was very niche. It was me, a lot of Russian guys and neighborhood characters. Immediately, I became obsessed with it. This is back. I was in my early 20s. Loved to party. Didn't really know what I was doing with my life. Went into that super super hot Russian banya, and I had an experience that took me a little while to put my finger on, but it kept me coming back. And eventually, I realized there's a mind body connection happening in there. Noise machine goes off. Incredibly present in the experience. Always left feeling better than when I walked in. And then as I was going there, the old timers would say, "Hey, I saw you here last week. Let me show you how you really do it." And there was a culture like that where you see the same people. They would teach you, here's how you cold plunge, these kind of things. And they would have strong opinions about the right way to do it, the wrong way to do it, conflicting opinions. But it was very niche back then. And I was always thinking, this is such a profound experience. It's biologically, I could tell something was happening. I would get endorphins. I would just feel amazing. Also, like I was saying, the mental and cognitive clarity you would get afterwards. Why is nobody doing this? Why is nobody doing this? So that was sort of in my consciousness. Has such a great experience, and I would go and always bring new people there and try to turn people onto it. And partially because I also just wanted people to hang out with while sauning. And I also spent a few years working in nightlife. So we were doing large scale parties. I was working with a promoter who was a real genius at getting booking talent and getting people to turn up. I was doing the operation side, so I would run the security, run the door team, run the lighting team, make sure the sound guys came in, run the bars. Very fun. You learn so much doing that, and it's really the same business model too if you think about it. You want to create exceptional experiences for people that they're happy to pay admission to and come in and have a great. It's an experience driven product, and it's about the space and the environment that you create, and those operational and hospitality touch points along the way. So, those two things came together in my mind where I said, I understand this business model. I like this business model. It's a simple, honest, direct business model. Create something really special and pay a fair and charge a fair price for it. And then it's very clear what you get. And I like creating experiences for people. And also being a real enthusiast, I was thinking, I want to make one that does two things. Number one, it satisfies the hardcore sauna enthusiasts. Like our saunas are top of the line, state of the art. They're very hot. They're at the right temperature. They're large format. They have amazing sound, but they are real deal. This is the real deal. This is not a toy, right? And if you are a sauna enthusiast, you're going to really love our saunas. And at the same time, I wanted to make something that could turn on new people, had great design standards, that was updated to modern design standards, both in terms of the look and feel, but also the usability, functionality of it. It makes sense how we're doing it, and had modern hospitality standards. Like, why can't it be with hospitality standards like a great restaurant would or a great hotel would have, right? So, like the places I would go, for example, you couldn't make a reservation, cash only, baby, right? Like this kind of thing. So you'd show up there, you never know what to expect. So this is a simple approach. We're not some big tech company where we're reinventing something. We just want to take something that is almost borderline primal, that's been around humanity for a long time, and that there's a reason that it's persisted for so many thousands of years, and we want to do it at the highest possible level.
Between the kind of inception and these worlds coming together, you're obviously very interested in it personally. You maybe selfishly wanted to create a space that you wanted to go to, and then also bringing in the experience, the nightlife vibes, the hospitality. How much has that, or I guess, has that changed? Call it in the last 5, 7, 10 years, like as you're going through this, like, oh, now maybe people are coming to this and they expect to have specific protocols, and they expect to have maybe people guiding them. They expect to have more of like a social experience that's like curated. Has that changed how you're looking at it, or is that maybe like reinforced the way that you all do things and kind of see yourselves fitting in the landscape?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think what I would answer that as all of the above. We really try to listen to our customers, meet them where they are, and recognize that people are coming from all different types of places when they come. There's some guests that we agree, and they are like, get me away from the front desk as fast as possible. I know what I'm doing. I want to be left. I want to have my own experience. I'm here with my friends. And then there's some people who really may be intimidated. I don't know what to do. This is why we try to, one of the other reasons we wanted to make it accessible and fun is because people, they're scared to go into these saunas sometimes. Maybe they are saying that out loud, or maybe they're not, or they're scared to cold plunge and stuff. They know that people are doing it and they want to try it, but there's an intimidation factor. What do I do? So we try to create a sense of belonging and of onboarding people for the first time. There's a few different ways that we do that. One of the big things that we do is called the Aufguss, which is a German word. Also, same in Dutch. It means pouring on. So it's meaning pouring onto the rocks. So we have sauna masters, and they every 90 minutes at Bathhouse we do a sauna ceremony called Aufguss, Aufguss. So what it is essentially the sauna master is going to make grapefruit-sized snowballs. We have crust ice machine. They use different blends of essential oils on. There's usually 3 to 4. They're putting them on the rocks. They're pouring additional water on it. It's creating steam in the room, so it's bringing the temperature up, and it's also atomizing the essential oils. And then they use a towel to control the heat in the room, bring it hotter and hotter, bring people up through a peak and then back down. And it's set to music and it's performative. And it's also this touch point where we can explain, the sauna master is explaining, are you new to Bathhouse? We're going to do a 15-minute. That's really optimal. It's the first time. It's going to get hotter and hotter. Here's some techniques to be able to stay in the room. If it gets uncomfortable, we're going to breathe together. Let's try it together. Then takes them through. Let's do a rinse afterwards. Let's hit the cold plunge together. I'm going to coach you through your first cold plunge. Really, really great for people to be onboarded, because not only is it informative, it's also fun and engaging. And while they're watching the performance, the time flies by, and they're not thinking, "Oh my god, I gotta get out of here! I gotta get out of here!" So, "Oh my god, it's over! I did it! I did it!" And so we do things like that are programmatic, that help first timers get oriented to the experience. I think that's been really rewarding. They're very popular.
Yeah, it's really interesting to think about this. Are the things that the onboarding or making it more accessible, making it social, building community, is that just naturally baked into the experience, or is it very much called out and almost separate from the experience, and different places do it differently? And so it's, I think that kind of like opportunity to create those touch points within the experience is something that someone who's going to Bathhouse, they come to understand and enjoy, and maybe even come back for these specific like aspects of it, where maybe the building community or the benefits that you're getting, like mind body benefits, like you don't have to explicitly say, oh, this is doing this and this is what's happening in your body. Like that's just a baked into the experience. So as you go down the path, like how much education is necessary, and then how much is too much to say, like, people, oh, this is like overwhelming and not what I was going for when I came to relax or just maybe get away.
In the past, when we've done sort of a lot of education type content, it did not seem like that was something that people really spent time on. People have very limited time, and they're not going to read, 1,000-word blog posts about all the different ways to sauna for us. They want to know what to be doing in our space when they're there. And I have a very sort of old school mentality when it comes to marketing and explaining things to people. I was always taught, feature, function, benefit, right? This is the way it was taught to me. The feature is the steering wheel, right? The function is it turns left and right, and the benefit is that it gets you where you want to go. This kind of mentality. So for the first 5 years of Bathhouse, I was like, we're talking about the features, because even though we're a remake of something that's been around for a long time, we're new to the market. Like I was saying, when we first opened, there was really these niche, often like cultural little places, And then there was spas, which were tended to be this kind of luxury hotel spa concept where there was, I call it performative relaxation. And so it was what is it? What are we? We're a place. We have saunas, we have pools. Here's some basic things about how you can use it. You know, here's how you get in. The type of educating our customers that we were doing was at that level. When we would start to talk about, here's what happens with heat shock proteins, is like, whoops, everybody tuned out. But when they're in our space, when they're there in person, they want to know, how do I use this? What are different ways that we could use it? So we could create some really basic circuits and things like that. The thing that's been most effective is saying, hey, sauna for 15 minutes, rinse off, cold plunge, do it for a minute. You can make it. Take some deep breaths. If you can do it for 3, that's great. Rinse and repeat. There's no right or wrong way to do it, and people make their own routines. We've highlighted some ways to do specific things. Like if you're having a post-athletic recovery, you might want to take one approach. If you are, hungover or want to just call it detox, you might want to do another approach. And there's different strategies for that, and people have been interested in those things. But really, it's sort of an in-person. Here's the place. Here's like how to do the basics. Now go on your own journey.
The other piece of this that's kind of fueling a lot of the interest now is like in real life, social connection, the wellness experiences, building community, especially after years of not being able to kind of gather in person. Have you experienced that shift? Are you, taking specific steps to capitalize on that when it comes to the socializing, building community, and really helping people connect? And then like just broadly, how do you think about the Bathhouse community?
Yeah, great question. So that was in our DNA and our planning from the very beginning. We thought of it as a social space. We try to design our interiors around that experience. So very basic stuff where the flow of the space and how the saunas are oriented to the pools create those social interactions. And that it's fun. We play music. It's a fun place. It should be fun. We think that they were that way historically, and the best ones around the world, around the country that I've been to, have that. I think that the idea of the solitary luxury spa thing comes almost from a sales perspective, where you're at a hotel, they have a spa, they want to say, oh, it's really luxury, it's really relaxing, we're going to put some vegetables over your eyes. And you're supposed to, there's a different intentionality expressed from what the benefits are supposed to be. So at these sort of luxury spa concepts, they're selling you this is a relaxing experience in and of itself. What you're supposed to do is go to that place and relax while you're there. This is not the intention of a bathhouse, not our bathhouse or the other ones around, or historically. Newsflash, it is not relaxing to go into a cold plunge. Maybe for some people, but
Right.
I've been doing this for 25 years. I still do not find it relaxing at all. It is very cold. It's intense. It could be borderline shocking. Same with our saunas. This is a 185, 195 degree sauna. You're going to be in there for 15 minutes. You're going to be sweating. Your heart's going to be pounding. There's going to be a voice in your head going, maybe I've been here a little bit long. I don't know. Well, I only got 5 more minutes. Can I make it? This is normal. You're putting in the work. The intention is about having fun while you're doing it, and that you're going to walk out the door feeling amazing. You're going to walk out feeling better than you walked in. It's almost biologically impossible not to, because all the benefits and what's going on the endocrine level while you're sauning and cold plunging. However, the experience itself is not a relaxation experience. It's an engaging, it's a fun experience. You're putting some work in, right? You're doing the work. You're doing the cold plunge. You're doing the hot rooms and that kind of stuff. So there's a different intentionality, and the intention is like it's better, to do it with other people. You can talk about what you're going. You can talk about life. You can, but have a fun, engaging experience. In the off-goose saunas that we build, these are 60-person, 80-person saunas. You're in the room and you're having a collective experience, and you're breathing together, and you're going on this journey together. And then afterwards, you're all best friends. People come in and You can see the vibe change before and after. People come in, they're can I sit over there? Is that okay? They don't really know each other. Afterwards, they're all high fiving, right? This is the experience, and it makes a lot of sense. It seems very normal and natural to me, but it is very different from a spa experience that people may be accustomed to.
Yeah, I think that's a really important, call out that it's not even so much just back to this idea of like, are you engineering this or is it just kind of happen? It's like the communal aspect, the engaging with people, the support system, the like all those things like happen as a natural part of this. It's not supposed to be, somebody sitting in the corner of the sauna by themselves, or like you said, with vegetables over their eyes at a spa. Um,
I don't know that you can really authentically engineer a community. Now there's an aspect to us of like, the well in the middle of in town square where everybody goes, and that's or what they say, the water cooler, right? This tends to be around bodies of water, and I think about that sometimes, that we've created this place where communities tend to form because of the inherent features that are there. This is the biggest water cooler moment, right? They either form or they don't. And when you try to, if you're like, I'm going to form a community, those things, it often feels that way, right? And maybe it doesn't land. So we try to let the space speak for itself. And what happens is that we start off with no memberships. We're open to anybody. You don't need to get a membership to come here. There's a variety of different price points based on peak times versus off peak times. You can come for, on Saturday midday, or you can come early in the morning, and you'll pay different prices. And we try to make a price that fits everybody's budget. And that being said, we do memberships. We started doing memberships because we started having the diehard sauna heads. And we said, we really want to do something. We want these people here. They're amazing. They're my kind of people. And they're the ones that were teaching me back in the day how to do it. So you want that community there. And we have members that come every single day. I see them here in the morning. Hey, Reggie, how's it going? And people they learn from each other. And so we have this a limited membership program for real enthusiasts, whether they're just a lifestyle type enthusiast and I just love the sauna, or we call them the white collar brawler types, the like work hard, play hard types that want to work out really hard in the morning, come sauna afterwards, and then go straight to work. We got all those types. But I think that the community and the social experience, it happens because people organically want that to happen. It feels natural and normal to be doing that here. It's fun. It's legitimately fun. It feels good to like sit down and you're having a fairly peak experience and be like, wow, how did you feel about that? This kind of thing.
This episode of the Fitt Insider Podcast is brought to you by EGYM. EGYM makes some of the most innovative strength training machines on the market, but that's only one part of their integrated ecosystem. With connected fitness equipment, AI-powered gym software, and a comprehensive corporate wellness offering, it's forging the future of preventative health. Partnering with companies worldwide, EGYM's WellPass program improves employee health by expanding access to premier fitness and health facilities. Upgrading gym floors, EGYM equips every operator with smart equipment and AI tools to create hyper-personalized training plans for every exerciser. Putting it all together, they're transforming healthcare through exercise. Experience the power of EGYM's ecosystem at egym.com. Maybe we could just talk about the business model, since you mentioned the memberships and like the day pass a little bit more. I think maybe from the outside, it's easy to think of it as like, maybe like a gym or a boutique fitness studio where it's like, oh, you pay for membership or you pay for a package of classes or, something like that. But there's also this aspect of there are other services that maybe people can have. So is there like a breakout of most people are membership, most people are day passes, and then just, at this point, maybe even like, what is the focus when it comes to like marketing, getting people in the doors and utilization, like just how you think about all that?
So in like broad strokes, if you looked at the pie chart, right? So over half of the revenues would be just day passes, admissions. The next biggest piece would be treatments. That's a huge, huge program that we have. We have so in the two locations we have in New York City right now, between them over 150 practitioners. We very in demand for massage. It's at a higher price point, and I think that we have a reputation for excellence in the massage world, and we do something I touched on it a little bit, but we have one kind of massage. It is a deep tissue massage, and we're very good at it. And we've developed a protocol over years that is meant to be extremely therapeutic. You're coming in, and we're going to tune you up, right? So it's acupressure, it's deep tissue, it's myofascial release, and stretching, and it's done in a certain kind of way. And so because of that, we've been able to attract, because of the type of program we have, we've attracted therapists who want to do that work. We're known as a place, so we've been able to get really an elite team, and so we do a really big massage and scrub program. In terms of, at least in terms of, you look at the pie chart of revenues, it's day passes first, it's massages and scrubs and all our treatment program second. Everything else is very small. It's a small amount of memberships. That's intentional, for us. We don't highlight memberships. We do it not for the revenues. We do it for the community aspects we talked about. We do it for the hardcore, and we want those people there. We have a food and beverage program that's meant to also sort of enhance the social aspects of it. So there's a place to hang out, and you just have this experience, and you want to kick it, get a bite, have something to drink, or maybe you want to do that and go back and sauna some more. A little bit of retail, and the retail is just there to we don't like sort of push product on people. We do retail to support the experience. So it's things that you need at a bathhouse. Whoops, forgot my bathing suit, sauna hat, dry bag, electrolytes, like things that either you forgot or didn't know to bring, and this kind of stuff. Very, very basic, very basic stuff. We still a lot of bathing suits, but it's retail is not a huge part of what we do. That's sort of the high level look at the pie chart. It's day pass driven. Day passes are a very simple product to understand. Memberships are actually complicated. They're like it's a contract between two people, and it also sets up a game theoretical thing. Who's winning, right? Well, if I pay this much, but I come this many times, then I'm getting it really cheap. But if I only come this many times, then I'm paying a lot. And it's like, we don't really love that. We like a win-win. We love win-wins. We want to provide a great product at a fair price that's really clear, and make that really simple and direct and fair and honest. And even just the thought process that you go through for memberships is not something that I love. And it's a different, also from a business perspective, it's a different type of sales. It's a different type of marketing, right? Like, what are we doing? Tours, like a gym. I'm like thinking about going to a gym. They want to sit down. Let's talk about your life goals. We spend our effort on the sales and marketing side talking about these core aspects of these are facilities that we have. It's very easy to come here. Just book a day pass. We have all these time slots available. Come, and there are different prices. Come when it suits you. If you want to have a massage, we don't have scrub. We do that. And that's the experience. And the memberships are there, as really on request, right? It's really on request.
It's interesting. Is that the case kind of broadly with the bathhouses? That because most often it's like you hear everybody's kind of pushing towards like, hey, where can I get to the recurring revenue? Like, where can I get to the subscription revenue? So, it's more predictable in that way. And you're right. Like, especially with this like gym comparison, there's even this thing of, for a long time, it's starting to change now, but still, especially among like some operators, is like, pay for a membership you don't use. We don't actually want you to use it. It's kind of better that maybe you don't. Certainly with an experience and something like this, that's not the case. Obviously, you want people coming in and actually taking advantage of it. But are you unique in that day pass driven, or is that the kind of case with more bathhouse, sauna, ice bath kind of concepts, if you know?
No, I do know it's more traditional that you would pay to get in at a bathhouse. The old school bathhouses I would go to were pay to get in or buy a 10-pack. We used to offer those, and when we started offering memberships because people were requesting them, we said we don't really need to do both. So it just becomes more clutter. I really focus on simplicity for everything we do. So we like to prune. I'm always pruning. I'm trying not to let things. Yeah, it's very easy. We start off simple, then you turn around, and there's like this Greek diner menu of a million different things. So I like to keep things very straightforward. So, I think that in bathhouse culture, it would be traditional that you would pay for admission and then you would add services if you wanted to while you were there, right? Like the old school ones, the massage therapist would walk around and be like, "Who wants a massage?" Like this kind of thing, but you couldn't even book it. We have a more sophisticated booking system, obviously, so people can plan their visit a little bit more and they can know if it's going to be. We don't let it get oversold. We manage the reservations. So in a sense, but I would think of it. People do think because of gyms, they think, oh, well, you should have memberships. But I would, think of it like a restaurant, right? Like you would never buy a membership to a restaurant. You don't want that. Yeah, if you run a restaurant, you probably do have your locals, your regulars that come in, once a week, twice a month, this kind of thing, and maybe you give them a cocktail in the house or a dessert or something like this, and you want to take care of them. You know who they are, you care about them, and you want to take care of them and create something special for them. But you're not like going to make them a membership necessarily. We're a little bit different than that. We have people who come every day. They want a sauna every day. It's a little bit more of a lifestyle. You're probably not going to go to the same restaurant every day.
Yeah.
Most people wouldn't do that. But we're also not like a gym in the sense that, at a gym, the build out that we do, the type of amenities that we offer are much more complicated and hard to build, and they're more rarefied. There's less of them. And we would need, and they're much more expensive and complicated to operate and to run them. And we have a huge aquatics program and lifeguards and certified pool operators and engineers and facilities people. It's a big, serious operation. A gym could never charge the price point that we could charge for an admission. Like nobody's going to pay $75 to go work out at a gym for a couple of hours. They also wouldn't need to. So when you start looking at, well, how does that break down into a price point for the membership then? If they charge $250 a month or something for a premium gym, that would imply like a $15 or $20 admission, something like that, probably. So a gym can never charge what we could charge. So that if you start thinking of it in those terms, like the membership the equivalent membership that would make sense for us, right, would be extremely expensive and probably undesirable. So somebody who's like, I have rent, I have a gym membership. So, our memberships, for us to create a membership, we are knowingly doing a big discount. We're knowingly discounting it a lot. And we're doing it knowingly because we want those hardcore sauna heads to be welcomed here and to help kickstart that community and to be there. But it's not something that we would want to, it's not something that we would be giving away a lot to pursue that as the business model.
It makes a lot of sense. I appreciate you kind of breaking that down, and the comparison to, a restaurant, even on that experience and kind of making it feel special. And maybe you're doing a couple of times a week or a month, the people that go every day aside, I think is a much better comparison than thinking the gym, which if you went that route, it's like you're just severely commoditizing what it is that you're offering.
I also like the free market aspect of it. I like we're going to make something so great, you're going to want to come back. We don't need to get you into a contract. Okay. Come back whenever you want. We're here for you, and you're going to really love it. And I think it makes the interactions and the sales and everything much more honest and clear and straightforward. You're never wondering if we're telling you something because we're trying to get you to sign some kind of like 1-year contract with us.
I mean, we've alluded to it a couple of times thus far, just like the overall interest and rise of social saunas, wellness clubs, recovery clinics, like all these things that are blurring the lines. And even now, so you talked about gyms, like gyms tacking on, oh, now we have a sauna, now we have a cold plunge, we have a recovery studio. Is this a net positive? Rising tides lifts all boats? Is this, competition not good? Like, what is this kind of trend and interest done, and what does that mean for Bathhouse?
We definitely take the approach of rising tides lift all boats. I think this is the beginning. I think we're going to see a lot of different models and people trying different stuff, and different consumers will have different preferences. We even within our own customer base, we know there's many cohorts, and they have different use cases and reasons for coming and preferences. I also will say that I was the customer, and that we have a lot of customers like this. I was the customer that had access to those things outside of a bathhouse and still would go to the bathhouse. So I was so obsessed. I built a steam room in my old loft. So I had one at my house, I had a steam room there. And I went to a gym that had a small but fine sauna in the men's locker room. And I was sitting there by myself after a workout. And I would still go to the bathhouse, several times a week because their saunas were better, and the sauna and cold plunge together were better. They had better stuff, but also I just liked it. Right? It was fun. I'd go with my friends. I would see the people I had met there. Oh, hey, it's Tuesday. So and so's going to be there. You got to know. And so I was the customer that had access that from a gym that had amenitized a sauna, steam room in my house. I still wanted to go because I wanted the full experience. And I wanted to spend 2 hours there and enjoy that. So I think it's great that residential buildings, hotels, gyms, other sports clubs are adding these things. I think they're going to turn on more people, and I think sauna also is really good for you. So I think it's going to be good for Americans and then the health of our population to be doing this more often. I know that people can't necessarily come to one of our locations every day. So if there's more places for them to sauna, I think that's great. And I think that you're going to see I think this is the very beginning. And I think that what we were hoping for, and we thought might happen, we think is happening, which is that there's going to be an awakening to culture in America, and that it's not a fad, because once you try it, you want to come back. It's very sticky, right? So the more people who sauna, the more that they will want to sauna and want to turn on their friends to sauning. And I think we're in the beginning of it. There's a lot more places like this in Japan, North Africa, Europe. It's more commonplace. It's been part of the culture for a long time, but I think America is wide open for that, and they're hungry for it. And I think that this is just the beginning of a much sort of longer tail, permanent trend where it will become normal for most people. That being said, most cities and neighborhoods and suburban areas are totally underserved. And if there is anything, it's probably a gym sauna or a hotel sauna, something like that, something small where you're going to kind of be isolated. And there's another side to the experience that we've highlighted a lot. So when I was growing up, I'm a 80s and 90s kid. I grew up in the 80s and in the early 90s. I graduated high school in 97, just to show how old I am. I don't look that old because I've been sauning every day for 25 years. Get in there, guys. But when I was growing up, guess how many of my friends' parents meditated?
Right.
0.
Yeah.
Guess how many of them knew about anything about diet? 0, right? Very few. Most of them didn't really, my friends' parents didn't really exercise. They would play sports until they got to the team that they couldn't go farther. I made JV, but I didn't make varsity. I made varsity, but I didn't make college. And then it was, maybe I had a couple friends that maybe parents like jogged or something, right? Right. Very different world we live in now. People are looking for real tools to improve themselves and to improve their quality of life and to improve their health. And they're taking that seriously, and they're learning a lot about it. And they're doing it in a very sticky way. It's not, I joined the gym on New Year's and I never went back. There's a workout culture, and it's all things. It's supplementation, it's diet, it's exercise, it's meditation, it's contrast therapy, sauna and cold plunge. And I don't think that's going away. I think it's actually just starting to escalate and hit critical mass. And I think that those behaviors are very rewarding and they're sticky behaviors. So I think you're going to see, particularly in the sauna side, I think you're going to see a lot of different models. And you're going to see companies try different things. Some are going to make it, some are not going to make it, and the market's going to sort that out, what people's preferences are. But I think it's exciting, and I think they're all good for us. Spreading the awareness is good for us, and I still like going to other places.
Just at the beginning, what does that mean for Bathhouse? Are you looking at it like, hey, let's open X number of locations, we want to scale, or we want to, make changes potentially to maybe not the model, but we want to add different treatments or, grow into this direction or that direction based on what people want? How do you think about maybe like capitalizing on this demand?
Scale in two ways. One of the first things that we learned when we opened the original location we opened was in Williamsburg, which is where I'm sitting in the office upstairs at Williamsburg right now. That was about 10,000 square feet, which we thought was big, but it was not big. And, we were very fortunate. We were sold out the first weekend. We were like, oh, okay. Immediately our customers were, oh, I wish the pools were bigger, this kind of thing. And also, we couldn't comfortably fit the amount of people that we thought we could on paper. Right. So we would get something like, we would have it when we did the certificate of occupancy and all the architecture, we got the public assembly. Oh, 250 people. Wow. But actually 45 people felt comfortable, this kind of thing. So we heard immediately from our customers that scale was a preference. Scale was a product preference. So we want there to be more to explore, more different variety of saunas and pools, and larger ones, all of the above. And also for us, the economics is more favorable to be able to do that too. So it was great for both the customer experience and for the company. So when we opened the second bathhouse, which was our Flatiron location in Manhattan. It's 35,000 square feet. It's 3.5 times bigger. Also sold out in the first weekend. So how big should it be? I don't know. So we're scaling the footprint, and we're doing that to provide a greater experience, and we listen to our customers, and we try to give them what they ask for, and to make each space has got to be better than the last one. I mean, come on, we got to keep building more incredible products. You can't stagnate. You gotta be like, we got to outdo ourselves at this point. That's what we think about it. Like, we're competing with ourselves, right? So Flatiron had to outdo this, and now we got to outdo that one. And so we keep building bigger spaces, and we're adding outdoor components to the spaces. I'm not sure when this podcast is going to air, but we're opening a roof deck on the Williamsburg location. That's just amazing. Like, I was blown away by how well it turned out. I couldn't believe we built that. It's incredible. I'm really excited about it. So we're adding an outdoor component. That was something that that's also listening to our customers and hearing from them. So we're building bigger bathhouses, and we're building more of them. The way Bathhouse grows is more Bathhouse, right? So we're opening in a bunch of different great markets around the country. We're opening another one in New York City coming soon. We have a great location in Philadelphia, right on Walnut and Broad in the old Bellevue, which is a crazy old world, amazing building, beautiful building. We're opening a ground up place in Chicago and in Nashville. And Stamford, Connecticut was an interesting one that, we weren't really looking at Stanford specifically until we started doing sort of demographical research, and it really leapt out as a place that was really hungry for this. So that's our plan. We would like to become a nationwide brand in the thing that we do, and we're taking those steps. But we also want to do one great place at a time and make sure that each one's perfect. And we build state-of-the-art facilities, state-of-the-art pools. There's a lot of engineering and stuff that goes into being able to build something like this. So we want to make sure we really nail it.
It's also not like you have this cookie cutter that hey, let's now open here, and you do the retrofit and you build it out. It's like the design, the architecture, making that really unique and almost one-off. So it's Bathhouse, but how much of that is like, identical template replicating versus like, okay, we have the building, here's the canvas, now we kind of build the thing and fit it into that building versus, what other concepts. And we've talked a lot about gyms or even some restaurants where it's like, we know how to do the thing. So like, let's flip it. Let's do it again. Whereas, we go and find the space, we build it from the ground up and make it a one-off versus, another Bathhouse, so to speak.
We're not really like the big box or the super branded place that's the same. You could do that. We need spaces that are big enough that it would be hard to do that. But also, each one, we want to have its unique identity while still having this brand thread that flows through it. We have a certain aesthetic, but it's more of a vibe. It's like the lighting and the way the layout flows. But in terms of like the aesthetic, we want them to all have their unique identity and to be relevant to the community they're in. For example, Williamsburg is in an old manufacturing district, in an old manufacturing building. We said, let's preserve those details. And then the thing that we build inside of it is going to be modern and fresh, and they're going to create a contrast, which is what this neighborhood is. It's the old and the new mixing together. So when you come to Williamsburg, you're going to see a lot of old brick that's original and it's chipped and it's, all this stuff, old original steel, this kind of thing. And then we built something, and then the parts that we built inside are very modern and clean and fresh. Yeah. So then the Manhattan space, in contrast, was in a underground parking structure, 2 floors down, and it had a brutalist architecture to it that inspired us. So we went a much more Blade Runner, sleek, ultra modern. But there's a thread that flows through it about how the place works together. It feels very Bathhouse. It feels very Bathhouse in the behaviors that it creates, because it fosters social engagement. And also, I think there's a certain lighting sense and a overall sense of style that you'll feel runs throughout them, even though we can work in different genres or looks based on the neighborhood and the building that we happen to find and its eccentricities and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it was a super exciting time, and like you said, very early in the US at least, not in the course of history for Bathhouse concepts. But as you continue to roll out new locations, or maybe folks that want to check out the existing spots in New York, just website, social, where would you point them?
Yeah, 2 places that you can learn a lot about us. Our website, which is abathhouse.com, ABATHHOUSE. And our Instagram is Bathhouse, at Bathhouse. So you can check out our Instagram. There's a lot of great pics. You can go through and learn about our treatments and on either one of those things. And come book us. Don't be afraid. Try it out. We're going to teach you how to sauna. We'll teach you how to cold plunge. You can go into one of our offices, meet a sauna master, and come with a friend. Have fun. It should be fun.
Perfect. We'll make sure that's all easy to find with the show notes. And thanks for making some time to chat with us today.
All right, Joe. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening to today's episode. If you got value from the conversation, please consider subscribing and sharing the podcast with a friend or colleague. It's a massive help. And if you want more content like this, including news and insights on the latest industry developments, subscribe to the Fitt Insider newsletter at insider.fit.co. And one more thing, you can learn more about our recruiting and consulting services at fit.co. That's FITT.co. I'll see you here next week.